we're going to start. I'm going to do the round 2 pools and then a few round 1 pool matches that I know might be interesting. So this is not going to be close. I love you, Logos. It's not going to be close. This might be close. I don't think it's going to happen, but Curve apparently is nuts versus Jigglypuff. I've heard that Curve, it's his favorite matchup. He's ridiculously good at it, and I know that Luigi's probably a matchup that HBox doesn't know as well as he knows other matchups. But in reality, he's probably going to get wrecked. We'll see. It could be fun to watch, but he's probably going to get wrecked. Curve versus Azel might not even get there. Azel probably has a lot of Luigi experience. Boulevard and who was their other Luigi? A few years ago, Luigi Kid. But Luigi Kid, I think, has been retired since Azel came in. So I don't know. Regardless, I probably expect Curve to win, and then I probably expect HBox to win more than probably. Spud versus Polo. Don't even know who that is. Next set, Fakoku Sane. I don't think Japan has any top foxes, and so I think this is probably not the best draw for Sane. Probably be better if you got like a floaty or maybe a Yoshi. Polo plays Falcon. Oh, then I'm definitely not worried. Spud's actually really good against Falcon. Don't expect this to be super close, and Fat Goku is also pretty good with the Ditto. Likewise, I don't expect this to be a win for Fat Goku. Spud is disgustingly good versus Fox. I don't know how great Steven is versus Marth. I know he beat Rishi, but I also know Rishi struggles versus Fox. So we'll see. Nothing crazy in losers. Fat Goku versus Azel. Don't expect much to happen there. Curve and Sane. Does Japan have a Luigi? Like, I expect Curve to be fine. I don't think it's going to be that interesting. Yeah, I don't think Fat Goku plays disciplined enough to beat Spud. Spud's way too good at that. This pool... Cat and Faithful versus Vortex. Vortex was a top 100 player, good friend of mine. Don't see this happening. I don't think he likes... So his Fox style might actually do decently versus Face Roll because he's super full hop heavy and good punish game and like pretty good punish game, pretty patient. But at the same time, I don't think that he's going to pull an upset when he's out of practice on someone of Face Roll's caliber. Blade Wise versus SFOP. Let's go, SFOP. In my opinion, that's probably a pretty bad draw for SFOP, given his playstyle. I would assume he doesn't love Peach, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Blade Wise is a pretty consistent player. Doesn't usually lose to people below him. Don't expect it to be interesting. Likewise, this is almost certainly not happening. As good as Laudandus was, he's out of practice. Swedish is obviously still extraordinarily good. Just be plupping the Ditto. And then Kevin Maples versus Chillin, dude. That's actually... Wait, that got changed! Chillin was supposed to play Leffen! No! Man. Zets might actually beat Chillin. Zets was really good versus Fox. Kevin Maples versus Swedish is hype. I agree. I think that could be an interesting one. Kevin Maples is a pretty patient player. That generally does pretty well versus Sheik if you're patient and have a good punish game. Swedish, of course, infamously losing to Joy Boy at Genesis last year. We'll see what happens, but I expect Swedish to probably be fine. It'd be a great win for Kev Maples, so. Nothing super interesting down here as far as I can tell. Vortex versus SFOP. I expect SFOP to be fine. Chillin versus Laudandus. That's a throwback. Chillin actually pretty good versus Sheik, ironically. Don't think that'll be an issue. Then Blade Wise versus Chillin, dude. I could see Chillin winning that, especially because Blade Wise is kind of out of shape. I could definitely see Chillin winning that. In fact, I kind of feel like Chillin will win that. Maybe I'm wrong. Especially just because Blade Wise isn't in like proper shape anymore, and Chillin actually lives in SoCal and is playing a lot. Kenny Maples versus S-Hop. I actually really want to watch that. That'd be kind of interesting. Probably Kenny Maples will be fine. Probably going to be fine, but S-Hop is obviously a nutty player, so anyone's guess for that. My pool, yay! I play an Ices into Bobby Big Balls. I did not really want to play BBB in a best of 3 because all he needs is one stock to get going. On the other side, I could easily see him losing to Dark Atma, so we'll see what happens. Ices, like, anything could happen, but my track record last year versus Ices is pretty good. I'm not going to jinx myself and say that I'm going to win because knowing that I'm going to lose. We'll see what happens. Army versus Panos. That could happen. Panos is actually really good versus Ices because he lives in Jersey. or he lives in like the Philly, Jersey area, so he probably plays a ton of ICs, and Army is not in the best melee shape anymore. Watch out for that. Panos is also someone who could break into the top 100 this year. Dreffin versus Nagy. I feel like any up-and-coming Marth, the first time they play Dreffin, they're just going to get absolutely destroyed because it's like, what the hell is he doing? And then Army Dreffin, that's a bad draw for Dreffin. Although Dreffin is actually weirdly good versus ICs for Sheik. And Army's probably going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing? So we'll see what happens. Big Balls versus Nagy. I could see Bobby losing that. Even if he has all his aim practice. I feel like Bobby is the type of person that can go to a major, and no matter how good he is as a matchup, he could just lose it. Dreffin Dark Atma, I think Dreffin's winning that for sure. Dreffin really good versus Peach, Hanky Panky practice. And he's not losing the Sheik Ditto. Army beat Dreffin 100% beat Dreffin. I would give Dreffin a 20% chance to win, actually. Believe it or not. Just based off what I've seen of Dreffin versus ICs. I know you disagree. Bet me with those odds. No, I don't have money to bet with, dude. Just because I can bet doesn't mean I will. I don't have the money to do it. Plup versus Blasty, not going to be close. Plup versus Rock, that's not going to be close. Plup versus Prince of Boo could be close. Plup literally just dropped a set to Komodo. Oh, no. Oh, no. Boo might be making top 64 winner's side. And then I think he'd actually have Pew Pew, and Pew Pew notoriously has a pup problem. So if I don't lose, I could be playing a Boo to get to H-Box. We'll see. If I don't lose also. Pew Pew is not losing to Mojo. Hugs probably not losing to SB. And Pew Pew probably not losing to Hugs. I know Hugs is supposed to be really good at the Marth matchup. But again, he's just not in melee shape. He's not like 2017, 2016. He's been kind of on the, or first half of 2018. So we'll see what happens. Don't really expect much of it. Going down here, this is not going to be the case. I promise you, this is not going to be the losers bracket you see. Hugs and Abu. I know Hugs also has a Puff problem. Lost to Chango, lost to Toussaint a bunch. I know he doesn't like Puff. Rocky versus SB, I think Rocky would destroy him. Especially if he's practicing. Alright. H11. Axe versus Reach. Axe did drop a single set to Shifted recently, but I think that's a fluke. They were apparently playing on a terrible setup. And Axe historically dominates the Falcon matchup. This is really scary for Axe. This is actually terrifying for Axe, the fact that he has to play Nintendude. I think Nintendo versus Panda could be close. I think Panda's pretty good versus Marth. Nintendo's versus... Oh, I think he said he'll still go Ices versus Pikachu. There's no universe that Nintendude is going to go Ices against Pikachu over... Or it's going to go Marth over Pikachu instead of Ices. There's zero chance. Yeah, that set was horrible. Axe will be fine. Axe might not be fine here. And I think he actually lost to Nintendo at EVO 2018, right? If I remember correctly, that happened. So we'll see. Shroom versus Goobs. I can actually see this happening, I'm not going to lie. Goobs has a decent bracket, actually. I'm pretty confident that he could beat both these players. Rishi, not the best versus Fox. Getting better, but not the best. And I could see him beating Shroomed. Shroomed has a propensity to just get drunk and be hungover and play horribly. I also see Rishi losing to Bobby Frizz. So we'll see what happens. Cess plays Fox. Cess is a New England Fox, a young Cess. Good friend of mine. Really, really nice guy. I like him a lot. Rishi versus Panda. Rishi has a rough bracket, actually. Rishi has Fox or Shroomed, which is actually terrible for him. So I could actually see Rishi drowning in round 2 pools. Beat Aqua pretty convincingly recently. Yeah, but I still think Aqua is rough around the edges and has a lot to work on as a player. And these guys are still a little more seasoned, a little better, a little more well-rounded. So, not the best bracket for him, for sure. H17. Aqua also played like an idiot, that said. SSAT versus Lovage. Oh, God, if it happens again, it'd be so funny. That's all I'm going to say. Marth Ditto and Tai versus Kuyashi. I think this is actually one of Kuyashi's worst draws because Tai's really good at the Marth Ditto. I expect Tai to be fine. Ginger versus Levinky. Ginger has dropped some Falco Dittos. He dropped to Albert. He dropped to Bimbo twice. But I don't think Levinky's on that caliber. I don't see Levinky beating Ginger. Cal versus SUJ. That's a scary matchup. He could just get rested like 3 times and tilt out. Calver, good player. Definitely prone to kind of tilting out of sets a little bit, but obviously an extremely good player, so that's a little scary draw for him. I don't see either of these people likely beating Ginger. Ginger's pretty good versus Puff, pretty good versus... I could see him losing to Calvar. Unlikely, though. I would bet on Ginger for sure. Levingi's the slowest Falco you've ever seen. Yeah, it's not going to beat Ginger. And then I don't see either of these Mars beating SFAT. Just not good enough versus Fox from what I've seen. Even if SFAT does have a Marth problem. Ty versus SDJ. Again, scary for Marth. You can just lose to Puff. Kyler versus Kuyashi. I think Kyler's actually pretty good at the Marth Diddle, so I don't think Kyler's going to have an issue there. Down here, we're going to go to this J5 bracket. Zane versus Fluid, Zane versus Boyd. Okay, this, hear me out, guys. I know a lot of people know Dark Gen X isn't like a top player. He's actually weirdly good versus Ice Climbers. And I would say weirdly good, like he never loses to Ice Climbers. And Boyd hates Fox. If you're going to bet on any ridiculous upset to happen, this bracket, bet on Dark Gen X beating Boyd. I'm not even joking. It could very easily happen. In fact, I would take over 50-50 odds if I was betting that Dark Gen X would actually beat Boyd. I think Boyd really decent heavy and not great versus Fox, and I think Justin's actually really good versus ICs. Like just abnormally good versus ICs. Either way, every single person in this bracket is getting absolutely washed by Zane, so it doesn't matter. Meds versus Jake and Shaken is interesting. I know Meds usually goes Fox versus Mark, but I also know Jake and Shaken is absurdly good versus Fox. And Jake and Shaken's really good versus Peach. Azusa is not beating Jake and Shaken. I will bet any amount of money on that. Vegan Boyd versus Azusa. Azusa could definitely beat that. Azusa's NorCal. I would say that he will beat Jake and Shep, but I also know that Meds does have a propensity to just run at people and start just falling apart. Which is why I'm saying, if you run into someone like Jake and Shaken and you get gimped once or twice, I can see it spiraling. Acidic, thanks so much for the single bit. Either way, it should be fine. Jake and Shaken versus Sora. That's interesting. Sora obviously has a ton of Marth practice. I think Sora's hella good too, so we'll see. He also was playing Ghidorah a lot. I'm in the West Coast right now, so I can't actually play anyone on the East Coast. Otherwise, I'd be down. SJ and Spark Pool. SJ versus Sir Pharaoh, that is not happening. SJ versus Joyboy. Joyboy, I actually know, does not like Falcon. So regardless of who wins between Joyboy and Ralph, and I expect Joyboy to win, not happening. Just don't think so. Spark's going to destroy Deft. La Luna might just get wobbled out of winners again. Although La Luna actually is pretty good versus Ice Climbers, from what I can tell. He had a couple wins on Bananas. Historically, did pretty well versus DizKid. Regardless, Spark is not losing to anyone in this bracket, in my opinion. Going down, La Luna versus Ralph. Ralph could definitely win that. Ralph's actually a crazy fast Fox, which La Luna is struggling with a lot recently. What's up, AWOL? Joyboy will probably not lose to Slug. Joyboy has a lot of ICs in New England, and I'm sure he'll be fine. What's up, Billy? What's up, Justice? How you guys doing? All right. Mango and Gatsu pool. Mango's going to absolutely destroy every one of these players. Falco, Fox, and Samus. That's not happening. I could actually see Super beating Nikki. Super probably, obviously, has a decent amount of Fox experience. Has literally just beat Hax the other day. Granted, Nikki has a very different playstyle, but I could definitely see anything happening there. No one's beating Mango here, though. Gatsu versus Casper, not happening. Bimbo versus Fizz. Bimbo, I think, had a propensity to lose to Sheik, so that could happen. But I will say if Bimbo beats Fizz, he could definitely beat Gatsu. And Gatsu's probably out of practice, and I know Falcon's just not a good matchup. Nikki's probably not losing to anyone in this bracket. Bimbo Swooper is actually kind of interesting. Their ranks are separated by a lot, but Swooper's gotten a lot better recently, and I think that this is actually a much closer matchup than people realize. All right. There's so many brackets. Holy moly, dude. No. I was wrong. I need to go to the other one first. Bimbos are both inconsistent players. Yeah, exactly. So that'll be actually pretty interesting to watch. I-11. Mochi versus Ent. That's going to be a wash. Mochi versus Forest. Forest? Okay, so H2 is Solo Fox now. Forest could do this bracket. Especially if you're not ready for his ridiculous... just wonky combo game. These two are basic. Forest is like the Marth of Mochi. This actually is going to be one of the sickest sets, I think, in the tournament, if this happens. I think this might be the sickest set of the tournament, like before round top 64. They're going to try to outcool each other. Oh, absolutely. These are both, like, edgy, cool guys. So it'll actually be really fun to watch this. Triff versus Slow King. Okay, this is not going to be close. Nut probably going to lose to 42nd. Oh, wait, that's a great bracket for 42nd. So 42nd obviously was a really good player, top 70 a year ago, beat SFAT and Absent Page. Also really good versus Sheik. He has a Sheik training partner, Dr. Lobster, who's actually like borderline top 100. So he has a Sheik into a Peach, and Triff hates Puff. He's a Puff player. Shep. So this is actually an amazing bracket for 42nd. This is an amazing bracket for 42nd. I could actually see 42nd beating both these players. Forest versus 42nd, I think Forest is fine. But 42nd, so the thing is, 42nd actually doesn't have any bad matchups. So if he's like on point, I could actually see him just like bodying a bunch of people. Because he is super, super, super rest heavy. 42nd beat me a few times when I was coming up. Lately, I've 3-0'd him every time we've played. But like when I was coming up and I was still really good versus Puff, he was really good against me. No, 42nd is very good. If he's on, he hits some of the craziest rests. Like, he's actually an insanely good rester. Genuinely really good rester. And then H12 versus Nut. I can actually see H12 winning that. Just H12 has a really good understanding of Fox Sheik from both perspectives. Going the net from beating everyone. Yeah, basically, 42nd beat me in pools and then beat Hacks, Slocks, Smuckers, and someone else before losing to me in Losers Finals. Because it was round robin, so I still got out first seed. What do you think about J-Salt? Don't know him. J7. Forrest also Komodo yesterday. Yeah, but he won the run. Komodo also took us out off of Plup, though. Who the hell? How do our... What? Whoever this person is, you're getting bodied. Franz playing Sunsei. That's a rough draw for Sunsei. I would not want to play a Dr. Mario. That would suck. I don't want to play Doc in a best of 3. I'm actually interested to see that. I have genuinely no clue how this will go. It'll be fun to watch. Either way, these players are both probably going to get washed by Jason. Don't see it happening. Prof versus Jace, probably not going to be close. Actually, Professor Pro, one of the best Foxes versus Falcon, period. Billy Bo Beep versus Vu. Billy, this guy is a full hopping Falco, just letting you know. He's like a weirdly full hopping Falco. I expect Billy to be fine. He has a lot of Falco practice. Professor Pro versus Billy. Ooh, I want to watch that. Give me that set on stream. Professor Pro versus Billy Bo. You shit on his life at SNS? Okay. Super unconventional laser heavy. He's also... Yeah, he's good. Doc has good overshoot options. If he does early Nair, ironically enough, it's better because his hitbox gets stronger. I want to see this set. I'm actually excited to see this set. I know Prof has highs and lows in the Fox Ditto, but I definitely want to see it. Franz probably going to destroy Vu. Billy probably... Winner of this... Sunsei is good, dude. You got a rough draw for if you lose to him. Sunsei just beat Mochi like 6-0. Sunsei is really good at the Ditto, so we'll see what happens. You're losing to Sunsei? Oh, no. Amsa versus Daryl, that's not going to be close. Okay, neither is... Nez beat Squid. No offense. I don't see that happening. Literally, Nez beat Squid. He's not beating Amsa. Squid might just lose to Karuto. Either way, Amsa has a pretty good bracket. Lucky versus Warmer. Warmer is the weirdest Falco you will ever see in your life. I don't even... Like, he down smashes in neutral. I don't get it. He has beaten Slox a few times. I already talked about S-Fob. I think he's hella good. He's beaten Slox a few times. He's beaten some... But he's not beating... I don't think he's beating Lucky. I don't think it's going to be close. Ice versus Daki. Daki, a Pacific Northwest Fox who's super good. Kind of came out of nowhere last year. Started doing pretty well, but... We'll see how well he does. I'm just checking Twitter to make sure Leffen hasn't messaged me that Net plays back up. Okay. No. And then Lucky versus Ice. I want to watch the out of this matchup. I am extremely interested by this set. I have no idea how good Ice is right now. Ice was really good at the Ditto in his prime. Lucky, obviously, high octane Fox. I'm really excited to watch this. Squid versus Daki. I actually think Daki is fine. Ice is going to destroy him if he plays him. I don't think it's going to be close. Ice is a monster at the Ditto. All right. Leffen versus Crunch. Not going to be close. None of this is going to be close. Shythid might be the real thing, but the real thing is like a pretty good Falco against Falcon. I don't see it happening, and I don't see either of them beating Leffen. Trap Lord not beating Mike. Kevbot could beat Magi. Probably not, but Kevbot is... technical Fox versus Falco can always happen. Magi's probably fine. I'm scared for Mike if he's playing this because I know Mike hates Falco. And I kind of expect Magi to win if Mike's not like at the top of his game. I expect Mike to be in losers against Shaithid. And then the real thing probably beating Kevbot if he loses to Magi. Worth noting, he's a notoriously bad choker. Who? Oh, Crunch, yeah. I've heard about that. This pool, I've heard, is kind of interesting. So, this is not interesting. Tiramisu could beat Ghidorah. Neither of these players are beating None. Tiramisu is actually pretty good versus Marth. Very fast technical Fox. None's not losing to any of these people. Hax versus Juicebox, not going to be close, in my opinion. Hax is really good versus Sheik. Hax aura is scary. Hax has had a history of being really good against Peach or really bad against Peach. Curb could also just beat Aura. Curb's actually weirdly good versus Peach. He had like a bunch of Peach wins last year. He beat kind of all the East Coast Peaches, weirdly. So we'll see what happens. And Triff fucked Hax? Yeah, Triff fucked Hax. I don't think Hax is like good against Peach when he's on, but if he's not like 100%, he's going to get bodied by Peach. So that's a scary bracket either way. Ghidorah versus Curb, that's actually kind of scary for Ghidorah. I could see Ghidorah losing this. And I actually expect Curb to beat Juicebox because Curb is like weirdly good versus Sheik and nobody knows the Game Watch matchup. Or is probably beating Tiramisu. Wizzy and Wesu run back. Ooh. Wizhope is not losing to Wasabi. He's a New York Fox. He's just not losing to him. Ryle probably beating Umarth. Almost for sure. Nico is going to get fucked by Wizzy. Wizzy is so good versus Peach, it's stupid. That is not happening. That is the least likely upset I think that would happen. If that happens, Nico's a god. Wizzy is so stupidly good versus Peach. I see no universe that happens. Westballs versus the Unable Table. Unable Table, a PR'd Puff in NorCal, so I can actually see West losing this. Yeah, Robbie will probably get a cool combo and then get double three stocked. That's my guess. Unable Table... actually could just beat Westballs. Zamu could also just beat Westballs. Zamu actually, so for as inconsistent as Zamu is, he's actually really good versus Puff. He's not losing. I don't think he's going to lose to Amida, who's a Puff from Kentucky. Kentucky, I think, kind of old school, kind of inactive recently. I think both these players have a good shot at West, and I think West is probably not making top 64 winners. Yeah, West could either lose here or just beat Wizzy. Ryo beat actually pretty good versus... Oh my god, that's a horrible bracket. Ew, he has to play the winner of a Puff Ditto? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a bad bracket. Zamu, Umarth, you better hope my boy Wasabi can beat a Zamu, because I know you do not like Marth. I know you have a history of losing to Marth. And then the last pool, all the way at the bottom. Fuck it, Nico can beat Tuesday. Yeah, but... It's Tuesday's not campy. Tuesday doesn't play the Peach Puff matchup the way Peach Puff's supposed to be played. Tuesday plays it like it's an even matchup. Fiction is not losing to Web White. Free Palestine could lose to Null. What matchups are Null good at? This isn't even to be addictive. Like, what matchups is Null good at? I don't know. I have no idea what his strong matchups are. Fox Ditto, is that true? He's good versus Sheik? Okay. Fox Ditto and Sheik. He's only good for Sheik. Okay, so this is probably good for him. If he travels here to play Fiction to get top 64, that would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. That would be the funniest bracket I've ever seen if Null travels all the way here to lose to Fiction. Chudat could lose to Eddie Mexico. That's a weird matchup. So this is funny. You'd expect that Kalamazoo should beat Chudat, but Kalamazoo's actually horrific versus Ice Climbers. So I actually see a very low chance of Chudat actually losing to Keizu. I see a much higher chance of Chudat losing to Eddie Mexico or Leighton if Leighton actually plays the match properly, which, granted, he has discipline issues and he might not. But I do see Leighton potentially beating Keizu. I know Kalamazoo lost to Snowy last year, and Snowy's not good versus Puff. If I listen to Old Genesis, you're quitting. Free Palestine probably losing to Leighton, if I'm being honest. Kalamazoo, definitely not losing to Null. That's not happening. I'm sorry, Null. Okay, so we get the bracket. I'm going to do the first losers one first. Fat Goku versus Nikki. I expect Fat Goku to be fine. I could see Nikki winning. I would give it 70-30 odds for Fat Goku. Kevin Maples versus Forrest. I actually would probably favor Forrest just because of the matchup, and Forrest is pretty good versus Fox. Net play is back. All right, tell Leffen I'll play him after. Tell Leffen to just do... I'm going to tell Leffen to give me 10 minutes to do this bracket because I want to upload this to YouTube. Best of the matchup. Dreffen is probably going to destroy Franz. Hugs, I doubt he's losing to Squid. I don't know how Squid is versus Samus. Rishi versus the real thing. Rishi's actually really good versus Falco, so I probably expect him to be fine. Cal versus Ghidorah. I think Ghidorah's actually like pretty good at the Marth Ditto. These are both good players at the Marth Ditto. Oh, Leffen's eating, so he'll be back in 20 minutes. No, Leffen's going to be back in 20 minutes, so it's fine. Cal versus Ghidorah should be fine for Calvar, but I could also see... This is actually kind of a toss-up. I'm not going to say it either way. Ghidorah just took a set off of Spud. Calvar is actually like pretty technical and really good tech chasing, which helps a lot in the Ditto. Interesting. Pretty close to 50-50 odds, actually. Ryobi, so I would expect Jake and Shaken to beat Ryobi pretty badly because Jake and Shaken's good at the matchup and just skill tiers. But Ryobi actually beat Jake and Shaken at the House of Pain where he almost reversed 3-0'd Mochi, where Morse code went off. So I don't know about this at all, actually. I can definitely see Ryobi winning again, but if Jake and Shaken's playing well, I think it's going to be pretty hard. La Luna over Free Palestine. Luna's actually pretty good versus Sheik, so I think he'll probably be fine, but I know Free Palestine's like getting a lot better. Bimbo versus Curve. Does this happen, Shep? Do you know? Has this happened? How is Bimbo versus... Oh, wait. Bimbo plays Eddie. What am I talking about? Bimbo's fine. That's a bad draw for Curve, if that's actually what happens. I actually definitely expect Note to beat Bladewise. Just, for obvious practice, matchup. Billy Bo Peep versus Bobby Big Balls. Should probably be good for Billy. I actually expect Billy to be completely fine there. Ice versus Rocky. This is scary if Ice goes here. Ice was historically really, really bad versus Falco. Actually, like, dreadful. That's, like, his one bad matchup, if I remember correctly. So, we'll see what happens. Could be a short bracket for him at his first major back. Magi versus Nintendo Dude. Magi, I better hope Nintendo goes Marth. I know Magi does not like Ice Climbers. That's basically all I'm going to say on that one. Aura versus Ty. I actually think Ty would probably win that. I feel like Ty would probably win that. Just Marth Peach. Ty's good and knows the matchup. Zamu versus Boyd. How is Zamu versus Ice Climbers? Boyd's probably not getting here, honestly. I don't even expect this to happen. I think Boyd is not getting here. He has actually a terrible bracket for him. And Kalamazoo, probably not losing to Joy Boy. Kalamazoo is actually so good versus Fox. It's really frustrating. Up in winners, we have Hungrybox versus Spud. That is not going to be close. Spud does not like Puff, and I know that the other matchup also wouldn't be good. Cat and Face versus Swedish is really interesting. That is really interesting, actually. A little also interesting to see Facial seeded over Swedish, but it looks like they're 16 and 17, so it's not really that off, I guess. It's like either or. I expect Swedish to win. I know Face Roll is 6-0 Mewtwo King, but I also think Mewtwo King is not prime in the Sheik Ditto right now, especially with chain grabbing. Swedish is not going to be caught off guard by chain grabbing, and he also just beat Plup in the Ditto, which I think is still more impressive, even if Plup's rusty. Me versus Army. Again, I don't think Army's even going to get here. If he does, I don't want to jinx myself, but just the point of content. I played him twice last year. Both are convincing 3-0s, and I'll have to brush up on ICs tomorrow, but I feel pretty confident in it. Plup versus Pew Pew. I can see Plup actually just losing to Puff before this, but if this happens, I don't see Kevin winning this. I see Plup. Plup is really good versus Marth. Like, last year when he was rusty, he still had, like, a stranglehold on Zane for the most part of the year. Axe versus Shroomed. How is Shroomed... Does this happen? I haven't seen this happen in what feels like forever. I actually feel like Shroomed could definitely do this. Plup is not going to go Sheik versus me. Plup actually would never go Sheik versus me anymore, I don't think. Plup is going all Fox. I feel like he has to go Sheik for Marth. He hates Fox Marth. We'll see. This could be interesting. I actually think Shroomed has probably one of the better chances of the seeding range to do well. And Zach versus Ginger, that's scary for Zach. I know Zach definitely not the best matchup for him. Zach is not the best versus Falco. It's definitely a problem matchup in my opinion. So not the best draw for him. I actually have a decent amount of confidence that this is going to be a very close set. Plup does better versus with Fox? Yeah, for sure he does. Zane versus Meds. I don't see Fox or Marth beating Zane. I just don't. Spark, I would actually put money on over SUJ at this point. I think Spark is getting really good, and his playstyle would really frustrate Johnny. I would actually put money on Spark in this matchup right now. Mango versus Gatsu, that's not happening. Mochi versus Triff. They played once last year. Triff beat him. I don't think Mochi's amazing versus Peach, so I actually expect Triff to win. Mewtwo versus Prof, probably not going to be close. Amsa versus Lucky. I feel like Lucky's playstyle could either go here or here versus Yoshi. Toss-up, Amsa's probably winning. Leffen versus My Case. My Case probably has the best shot of a non-top 15 Fox at beating Leffen, outside of maybe Hacks, but I just don't see it happening unless Leffen plays like terribly. None versus Hacks, that should be a fun set. Obviously, Hacks really good versus Falcon. Everyone knows that. None extremely good versus Fox. Yes, haha, chat, go off. That'll be a fun set to watch. I actually really want to watch it. Wizzo versus West Balls. Haven't seen that in a while. That's the one matchup, top 10 matchup, where I'm like, West has the best shot. West is like almost 50-50 shot at winning this. Almost a 50-50 shot of winning this, to be honest. But I think West probably is going to have a hard time getting there. Fiction versus Chu. I do firmly believe last time was a fluke. I don't expect Fiction to lose this. Chudai versus Fat Goku happened last year at Genesis, actually. I don't know Steven versus Ices, but I guess we'll find out. History tells us that Fat Goku should win. We'll see. West versus Kevin Maples. This is probably one of the worst draws Kevin could have gotten, because West, the one matchup he's still good at outside of Falcon is Fox, which kind of sucks. But I think as long as you play a good style to counter West and you don't fall for his execution test, I think you could still do it just fine. This is going to be a slaughter. No way around it. Doesn't Hugo beat Mike, or was that only a main stage? Is that confirmation bias? I actually don't know how this goes, so this could be interesting. This was Game 5 at SmashCon. Two people who... Lucky is actually pretty good versus Marth. I'm surprised ever she took him to Game 5. I'm just doing the bracket as is, though, Pudgy. I'm doing the projected matches. Lucky, I think, would probably win this handily. If Rishi's super in practice and has really worked on the Marth matchup, I think he could do well, though. Professor Pro versus Calvar. Calvar is actually not that good versus Fox, so I don't expect that to be close. I would love to watch this. If Jake Shaken beats Ryle Beat, Jake Shaken is really good versus Peach, so I would actually be very intrigued to watch this. Gatsu versus La Luna. I think Gatsu's going to murder him. La Luna not in melee practice. Gatsu really good versus Marth. Spark versus Bimbo. Spark is heavy favorite in my eyes. I don't really see Bimbo beating him. I think Spark's way too good of a punish game. Meds versus Nut. So Meds is actually not that good versus Sheik. He's talked about this a lot. He thinks he's not that good at the matchup. So I could actually see this going pretty badly for Meds. Ginger versus Billy. I would definitely favor Ginger. And I would say he's almost certainly going to win. However, depending on how Billy's playing, I could see Billy taking a set. But I would definitely bet on Ginger. No offense, Billy. Shroom versus Ice. No, I just don't know how good Ice is right now. Like, I know Ice used to be really good versus Sheik and Marth. He used to be really good versus both of them, so I could see him definitely winning, but we'll see. People versus Magi, I don't think it's going to be close, I'll be honest. I think Kevin is actually disgusting versus Falco. Yeah, Ice used to play Sheik. Army versus Aura. I could actually... Army losing that for obvious reasons. Swedish probably beating Zamu. Swedish is just really good. As long as his tech chasing is even decent, Swedish is so good at that matchup. And this happened at Dome Park, and oh my god. Spud like triple 3-stock Keizu in one of the most brutal sets that I've ever seen in my life. It was just not close at all. It was so bad. And Keizu played him for like 2 hours after and didn't take a game. So I don't see that happening in any world. I also don't see this happening in any world. Swedish is probably going to destroy Spud. Spud is not good at Cheek, self-admitted. PP versus Army. I saw this once at SmashCon where Army beat Zane and PP had to like reverse 3-0 him. Pretty sure. Having said that, I definitely put money on PPU. Army not at the top of his game right now. And I think PPU is just pretty good overall. Pretty solid. I only really scared for Kevin when it comes to Puff. Ginger versus Shroomed. I actually want to watch that. I have no idea how that'll go. I feel like Shroomed usually wins. If not always. But also Ginger's gotten a lot better. So I think it's going to be a pretty fun set to watch. Spark versus Meds. Again, Meds I know not good versus Sheik. So I don't expect that to happen. Even if Nuff gets there, I think Spark's going to destroy him. Triff versus Gatsu. Oh, that sucks for Triff. Triff has a horrible bracket. Marth, Falcon, Sheik, he better hopes that he beats Mochi, because that is a god-awful bracket to get. Professor Pro versus Lucky, another interesting one, usually depending on how good Lucky plays. This is also interesting. It happened at Summit, but that was so long ago. The players are completely different, but I also think that Hax still has some deficiencies in his play that if Mike picks up on, he should be fine. But Mike's playstyle is not the best at exploiting what Hax is bad at, so I actually would probably bet on Hax here. Shootout versus Wes. I don't think Wes is good versus ITs. I think Chu's just going to body him. Not body him. I think Chu's going to solidly beat him. Bittree, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub. Build tree. Back up to winners. Faithful versus Hungry Box, not happening. Next. Swedish wins. Swedish actually could beat him. Game 5 at Shine almost beat with Fox. That could happen. Me versus Plup. It'll be a Fox Ditto. I've actually haven't played Plup since 2017. I haven't run into him in 3 years. So I have no idea how it'll go. I hope I win. I'm seated above him because I really, really want to beat H-Fox. And more support to come. Thank you, man. It's really appreciated. But we'll see what happens. Axe versus SFAT. SFAT's best chance at a top 5 player. SFAT, super good versus Pikachu, knows how to exploit it super hard. Either way, Zane is either going to have an amazing path here or a terrible path here. Zane's either getting a freebie or an automatic loss. Zane versus SGJ. Zane won last time. SGJ also played kind of sloppy, but so did Zane. It was like a 9 a.m. tournament when Johnny was on West Coast time. I have no idea. This is a genuine toss-up, and it's always fun to watch. Mango versus Mochi. I don't think Mochi's that good versus Falco. I don't see him beating Mango yet, unless he really steps up something. Mid-King versus Amsa. This is interesting because you would expect Mid-King to be good versus mid-tiers, but Mid-King actually struggled with Amsa before he retired, if I remember correctly. He lost to him quite a few times. And Amsa's big first win, I think, was at Kings of Cali where he beat Mid-King. Pretty decent. This is actually a great bracket for Amsa. This is an amazing bracket for Amsa, to be honest. See what happens. Leffen None and Left X. That's actually this is a scary bracket for Leffen, especially if he's rusty. This is actually a terrible bracket for Leffen. Oh my god. This is horrible. Because even if, Wizzy loses, then he just has to play another Fox who's good at the Ditto. This is just a horrible bracket for Leffen. I'd be scared if I were him. I would be really scared if I were him. Hopefully he can pull through, but that's a bad bracket for him. And Fiction versus Wizzy, now let's just say Fiction's beaten him twice, both in 2018 and 2019. Neither set was really that close if you actually looked at the gameplay. I expect Fiction to just win. Going down here, I went over this, so we're going to go to SJ versus Chu. Pretty much, I think this happened a few times, and SJ almost always wins. SJ versus Hack's actually back and forth, so they actually played for 65th at SmashCon, because Zach lost to Kevin, and Hack lost to Wispy? Wisp was the Peach from MDVA. Goes back and forth. I think SFAT's actually playing pretty well right now, though, so I can actually see SFAT, convinced. SFAT has just a pretty good losers bracket, if I'm being honest. Plup Lucky. If Plup's going all Fox and loses, that's a bad draw for him. Just straight up. Face Roll versus Triff. Good matchup for Face Roll, but I also know Triff is really good versus Sheik, so that could be bad for him too. Fiction probably beating Spark. Spark, the kind of player that has some habits that are mildly exploitable, and Fiction's really good at picking on those. None versus Ginger. Ginger has not beaten None once. I don't have anything else to say. Hopefully he can prove me wrong and put up he's put up good fights, but it'd be nice to see him prove me wrong, but as of now, status quo. Similar here, PPU is not beating Amsa. Amsa basically destroys every mark that isn't Zane. So again, this could be interesting. Mochi beat Swedish at the Mango, but Swedish was also notoriously in bad shape the first half of last year, and was in way better shape the second half of the year when his hands healed. And Swedish is a very scary player to play against, and one that's really able to tilt you because of how good his punish game is. So I can actually see Swedish winning that. SJ versus SFAT goes pretty back and forth. SFAT actually, again, I think SFAT's actually been playing pretty well the past few weeks, based off what I've seen. So I actually kind of think he's going to do well. And I know SJ has kind of been on a downswing, has had a controller issue. We'll see. Plup versus Face Roll. Plup did just lose to Swedish. I think that Face Roll is a little more one-dimensional than Swedish. And I think Plup's going to be fine, especially if Plup goes Fox. I don't see Plup losing that. Fiction usually beats None. I know None took a bar tournament or like a monitor tournament. Fiction, pretty good for Suckin, usually beats Falcon. I would expect him to win. Amsa versus Mochi. I want to see that. Mochi is supposed to be a god versus Yoshi. Because apparently his like brother or like initial training partner played Yoshi or something. I just heard really good things about it, so I want to see that. Back up to winners. Give me that. Okay. I really, really, really want to win this. Obviously. I would love to make top 8 Genesis beating Plup and HBox. If I get there, I have definitely the best chance of like the non-like Leffen tier of beating him, I think without a doubt. And if I get to my sub goal, I will promise to beat HBox for you guys. Axe versus Zane. Zane's talking about how he like really thinks he'll beat Axe this time. But at the same time, if history has shown me that Axe has not lost a set, and so I would still bet on Axe. But never count out Zane, especially with how much he improves every single tournament. Mango versus Mutaking. Oh, I would love to see this. We haven't seen this in so long. We have not seen this in so long. I really want to watch this. Mango, a lot more tilt-proof now than he used to be, and a lot more patient. But I feel like something about playing Mutaking might bring that old Mango. It's just like, I fucking hate this guy. So we'll see. Leffen versus Wizzy. This is just a bad bracket for Leffen. Wizzy kind of bodied Leffen last year. But I will say Wizzy's not in the shape he was at the beginning of last year. And so this is actually the best chance for him to win. And if Shep's there, Fiction's obviously good at the Ditto, but I'm not going to bet against Leffen. That's just not happening. So we go down to losers. Mutaking versus S2J. S2J took a set. I still think Mutaking's going to win. And if it's SFAT, I still think Mutaking's going to win. Simple as that. Plup, if he's going all Fox, might actually struggle a little bit with Wiz. Actually, Plup's Fox does pretty well versus Wiz. I think Plup's good at this matchup. So Plup probably is going to win this matchup. I'd be kind of surprised if it wasn't. Me versus Fiction. We'll see. It's basically a coin flip. I don't really think there's much else to say on that. And Zane does not lose to Amsa. Zane's actually really good versus Yoshi. Going to top 8. Hungrybox versus hopefully me. Me versus you just shouldn't happen. We should win. Exactly. We'll mean winners finals. I hope this doesn't happen again. I love you, Axe. I just don't see you beating HBox. Mango versus Leffen. Fun set to watch. They go back and forth. I think Mango is definitely in better shape right now than Leffen, so I'd probably bet on Mango. Me versus Zane. I want to play Zane so badly, but I want to play him in grands, or play him either here or here, not down here. Regardless, I would have to bet on Zane, obviously, between tournament history and the fact that he's a god versus Fox, but I would love to play that. HBox, this bracket's free all the way top 4. Whoa. I destroyed him at Summit. What are you talking about? And Smash Splash was game 5. What are you talking about, Holt? Mutaking versus Wizzy. I actually see Mutaking probably winning that because Wizzy's not in the same practice that he was. Again, I'm going off the fact that he's probably really rusty and had a bad showing at Big House. Leffen versus Zane. Last it did not go Leffen's way. Leffen's rusty, and I'd actually pick Zane for that right now. Axe versus Wizzy. Axe is really good at that matchup. I don't see him losing, especially with Wizzy not in top form. HBox Mango. Going off recency, I'm going to pick Mango there too. Mango's been playing super hot. I kind of expect Mango to win Genesis, honestly. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't first seed, but that's fine. At Leffen Axe, I would love to see Leffen play well against Axe because he played like crap every time he played him last year. But again, rusty, so I'm not going to take a bet on him. And same thing here applies to the winner semi set. But if it's HBox, I think Leffen will probably beat him again. Because you don't need to be in super shape to be good versus Pop. You just have to make sure you're still like you have the matchup knowledge brushed up. Okay, so that's Genesis. I do expect Mango to win, if I'm giving an honest guess. Pretty cool event. Double seeding is questionable, so I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, it's the most stacked event since Genesis, since like, I don't even know when. EVO 2018? I don't know. SmashCon 2018, whatever it was. This is the most stacked event in a really long time, and it should be really, really fun to watch. So yeah, that's that.